Oh my goodness! Why is it stuff? And why is it also stuff? Also, this is kind of a testing thing, so hopefully this works out. Yeah. Hey folks, SeraphTearZ here, and welcome to a small side touhou indie game of sorts. Just doing this on the side to give myself a bit of a break before I start the next main LP project of sorts that I want to do. One promise to a friend of mine. But for now, this is Paper Tenko. It's, as you can see, and probably guess if you haven't seen it, it's a touhou indie game of sorts, but also makes it Paper Mario to an extent. And this is the final demo of the game that is up on the developer's blog. I'll go ahead and link the developer's blog in the description when I actually upload this, so if you're curious to play and try this final demo, you can. To my knowledge, it's still in development, so I honestly don't know what's going on with that right now, but it's still fun to play, even if it's just a demo. But without further ado, let's just go let's go ahead and just get this started. Honestly, I have minus the shocking, I have absolutely no clue what's going on here. Sorry, I can't translate things for you guys. I only know just enough Japanese to be able to play games to an extent. But since I actually promised a friend of mine that I would actually show this demo to them, I'm going to. Shouldn't take me too long to play through this anyway. So let's get started. The prologue. So then, starting off, it's just saying that Iku joined our party, and this screen over here is just noting what she can do. Namely, she can help us cling on to obstacles of sorts and pull us over there. No, I don't need a battle tutorial, I'll just go over it myself. To an extent. Looks like my Xbox controller is attached just fine. So let's go ahead and go into it. So, yeah, much like actual Paper Mario games, you can actually attack enemies and get a preempt. However, jumping on them doesn't necessarily count for a preempt, so you have to go with the hammer. So, as you can see, we have 4 commands here. Well, 8 to be exact. But from top to bottom, we have the hammer attack. Her B attack is currently her projectile, which I will show right now. It's this. It'll do a straight 3 damage, and how do I put it? It's pretty much the one attack you'll be using to actually hit flying enemies. Iku, on the other hand, being the partner character, she's basically, well, Goombario, so to speak, from the first Paper Mario. So, while she has an attack, which is her drill, she has a tattle function. So, going ahead to do that right now, just so we know what these fuzzies actually have. So, here displayed you can see, well, their level, level, HP, and, well, the 3 attacks they have, and so forth. And I think also if they have a defensive stat, this one doesn't. And much like in Paper Mario games, as you can see there, if you press the, well in my case it's the A button, but basically the hammer button, right before an enemy's land hits, you can basically block the hit or, you know, reduce damage. So let's go ahead and just use a hammer for now, and I will explain other functions later. Because that's a little bit too long for a single battle explanation. And besides, I mostly just, oh god, explaining this. Fun fact. While in some other cases, enemies in old Paper Marios, if they actually hit you, they get the preempt. In this game, if an enemy hits you with projectiles, you won't get into a battle. You'll just take directly that damage. So what you want to do is try to actually touch them, so you can start a battle. Now, I'm gonna switch to Iku first. Give her a turn so she can tattle on these fairies. And really, that's the only way you'll ever be able to hit flying targets. You can't hit them with your hammer. And as you can see there, if you press the A button when a projectile's coming at you, you can dodge it. Although the game can get really silly with projectiles at times, so don't expect to dodge all of them. Now, your C command is actually one of Tenchi's projectiles as well. After I hit A right here, she'll start jumping. So when I hit A again, she'll fire projectiles. Unfortunately, Iku can't do anything to help me, and I messed up my spread right there, so I'm just gonna have Iku defend. Easy enough to do that anyway. And both my C attack and my B attack take one Spirit Orb, as you can see, up at the top. Reminiscent of the Touhou fighting games. Man, this is taking a while for explanations. Hopefully I can get through this in just one video. First time ever trying it. And we got a rear end. No, it's a page. It'll heal 5 HP and a save block. Simple enough. So, ignoring how disturbingly much like a derriere these peaches look like, let's move on. We're trying to get all the way to the end. We're pretty much just trying to get to the end, and I honestly don't know the full story. But let's just play through and, honestly, I can't explain anything regarding the story. You guys, I don't know exactly. I can give basic ideas to what it might be, but... Oh, excuse me. That requires me to do a whole lot of, trying harder, you know, looking through a whole lot of other places and websites, hoping someone has a translation. So I won't. Now, with Iku's attack, as you saw last battle, if you... Well, I have a control stick, but you pretty much have to spin your D-pad to actually give Iku more damage in her... Basically, she's winding up her drill, so to speak. Let's just go for that. There are a lot of times where I like to be really, really lazy and just use Tenchi's projectiles to kill things. Oh, another thing about Tenchi's projectile and her hammer. Oops. If there are any enemies in front, well, basically, with her projectile and her hammer, you can only hit enemies that are at the frontmost of the line. You can't hit anything in the back, unless they're flying, and you're able to hit them. I'll go over that later when there's a good chance. Now, maybe not like right now. So you see, I'm actually able to kind of target with my projectile, but if I were to shoot it at, let's say, the guy in the back, it's the front. So you gotta bear that in mind when you're using it. Also, I probably needlessly used a Spirit Orb, but whatever. These fuzzies aren't that big. Fun fact, before I actually found out about the final version of this demo, I played an older version of the demo, and boy did I die so many times in the starting area. Like, seriously. All the way up until the end I died so many times. So, there were quite a few balancing issues, but for this final demo, not so much. So, I've been able to play, compared to the older versions of the demo, I've been able to play this one through, and maybe only have one game over, maybe two, and that's only because I did stupid moves. Oh. Also, we got a badge there. So we'll go into this menu, and... honestly, it took me a little while to try to translate that in English, but I'll just tell you right off the bat, that's basically just a new hammer attack we got. You're gonna want that. You're gonna want that, trust me. You're gonna want that badge equipped at all times. And here, if I can get to it, we have spell cards. More or less again, reminiscing back to the Touhou fighter games. So, while we have our badge screen right there, oh, yeah, I'll go over that later. We have the card screen. And these are 4 different deck types you can equip. I just go for one because I never really need anything else. And we can see at the right next to the card, the number 2, and a bunch of other moon speak for those of you that don't really speak Japanese. I can't read it. But that's how many cards we can socket into the deck we have. So let's go ahead and socket these 2 cards in. One is an attack, and the other is a heal. So, darn it, I'm all the way at the bottom. Well, darn it. Jeez! I really can't focus when I'm recording, huh? Oh well. Now, normally you'd have to go through that cacophony of stuff to the right to get up here. But, you can just do this. And skip it entirely. The controls for Paper Tenko can be a little bit disarming at first. So, don't worry if you suddenly just derp around! Okay. Let's take this guy first. Now. Sorry. So, these enemies, let's have Iku tattle them right now. Will-O-Wisp. That's what its name is. I'm just reading the Japanese name, but it's basically Will-O-Wisp. Thing about Will-O-Wisps is they have a defense point, so the only way we're going to be able to beat it is by using this skill here. Anything else just kind of glances off, really. More or less. Or at least every other time I've tried something else, even my projectile, it just kind of glances off. So might as well just go straight for what actually works. And as you can see from the cards at the bottom, I'll explain it next one, actually. But now that we leveled, let's upgrade health, BP, or how many cards we can have in our deck. I'm just gonna go left to right, so we're grabbing extra health first. Break the block, and we have another badge. Honestly, I can maybe vaguely understand what each of these badges do, but just a very vague idea of what it is. So, actually, I just kind of go ahead and I already know which badges I should most likely equip for whatever reason. So, don't worry about it. I believe that's a badge that kind of helps you when you're in a pinch. I don't know exactly, but I can kind of see that in the katakana. Unfortunately, Iku can't do anything to these Will-O-Wisps, so it's mostly going to be on Tenchi. Oh, and if you look at the bottom right there, next to the cards, every time you take a hit, and I think if you do damage, let me try that. Yep. Every time you do damage and every time you take a hit, the cards will charge up, much like back in the Touhou Fighter games. So you'll be able to use them accordingly with the D command. And actually, just to show it off, let me go ahead and have Iku attack. Spinning the control stick. See, even though that was supposed to be a 4 damage, it all just kind of glanced off with him. So there's that. So unfortunately, this is really the only way you can actually damage them as of now. Video's going on for a little bit. I think I should find a good stopping point eventually. That's a health block, and there's these peach coins. You can trade them for other badges later. I've never traded any of my coins for badges that are in the shop, mostly because I don't know what they do. But we'll take a look at them later. And I'm gonna go ahead and actually fight all manner of enemies I can, for the sake of actually doing so and gaining XP. Yin-Yang Orbs, I honestly don't know what all of it says. But this is another enemy where you pretty much have to have Tenchi to do all the damage to it. At least, I'm fairly certain. Oh. There we go, see? Even though I did dodge it, you really can't expect to dodge everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is another enemy where Tenchi has to be the one attacking, so let me check. Oh, never mind. I'm done. Okay, so unlike the Will-O-Wisps, I know later on there are sometimes Yin-Yang Orbs that actually do have a defense and you need to have Tenchi attack it, but I don't remember which ones. Unless I'm just going crazy. Who knows? Break this, and you got, well, a lightning bolt. The actual name? I'm not even gonna try to make that in English. Sorry. I'm just not even gonna try. Oops. Oh boy. Don't want to get hit by the... Ow! See? As you can see, I got hit by the projectiles, and quite frankly, I didn't get into a battle. It just kind of dumped me back down into the pit, and I took that 1 damage to my health. So rather than... You know, I left off that last battle at 12. Now I'm at 11. Now I'm at 10. This game, if you dare to play it, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see that a lot. There are a lot of places in this game where the game will just kind of do that to you. I hate it, but it's still beatable. I know that for a fact. It's just gonna get really annoying. I promise you that much, at least. But there are ways around it. Okay, got that done. Now, if I remember correctly... Are there any enemies past here? No, it's just a safe block. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna just purposely do that, and I'm gonna see if I can run back and get a... See if I can run back and get a... Of course, I gotta wait, don't I? Right. Run back and get a free heal. Totally gonna want that. Well, maybe not totally, but just to be safe, I'm going to make sure I get into this next area with a free heal. These jumps will also start getting really annoying, just from one Peach platform to another. What am I supposed to call it anyway? I'm jumping on rear ends, for goodness sakes. Well, innuendo aside, let's go ahead and hit the save block and move on. Because we have a boss fight. Which is, a King Fuzzy. Quite frankly. I'm just gonna skip the dialogue and go straight into it. Now, for a first boss fight, it's not that bad, honestly. But, for the living hell of it, I'm going to start off this fight by having Tenchi use that item that we got. So, hold left, and then you can access this next set of commands. And we'll go to our item menu and use that lightning bolt that we got just to get rid of those other fuzzies. And we want Iku to tattle immediately. And this is the... well, I'm just gonna call it a King Fuzzy. 50 HP, and you can see his other attacks over there. Yeah, you preferably not, if you can, try to avoid most of his attacks, but you'll see. Excuse me. I had dinner recently. Wow, I failed at that. Well, in this case, my block will mostly just glance like a point of damage, as opposed to the original damage attack. Stating aside, let's just go ahead and keep attacking. Because really, that's all this boss really is. It's basically just tank and spank. And watch for the bullets. This might be a pretty good time to... Actually, no, let's wait. Yeah, let's just wait. I'll use that card maybe after the next hit. Because that healing you get actually will heal a certain percentage of your health. So that would be a pretty good time to use it, so let's do that. And that's Tenchi's turn, so let's go ahead and have Iku attack. Sometimes there's a very nice way to be able to dodge that in a way where you don't take too much damage. I've never figured it out. I probably should have been using this attack this whole time. Just for 1 point of extra damage. But, you know, not too bright. Ow! Okay then. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I'm somewhere in the critical zone, so if my badge procs, it'll kinda save me, I think. Nope. Well, I'm in a pinch now. Let's see. You know what? No, I'm not taking a chance. I was about to say let's go for broke, but nah, let's not. I probably should have gone for broke. Good job, me. I totally could have withstood that attack, but I had to play it safe. Knowing me. But, there you go. Not a bad first boss. Really easy. And we'll just increase the badge points. And so he disintegrates into a mini fuzzy. And for some reason we get a peach from him. Not sure what the story behind this is, but it says combo peach, I think. And that lettering would just say got a combo peach or something like that. Well, that increases my hammer damage, I think. Vaguely, just some of the letterings I saw in there. Before I leave, let me go ahead and just hit this. Just because. Oh, and since I leveled, I don't have to worry about healing because, yeah, like in most RPGs, when you level up, you gain back your health and all that other good stuff. And also, if you kind of look at the top of the screen, right above me, you can just barely see something. Let's grab that, because there are prizes to be won. This is going to be nice. That's basically your... Well, I can't equip it now. But that's basically a MP restore, so to speak, this game's version of it for your cards. And we have Rumi chasing Black Peach. It looks really awkward, I'm sorry. But blah blah blah, things happening, blah blah blah, things happening. Let's go and save. Because this is a pretty good place to stop off. So, until next time, this is SeraphTearZ. See you folks later.